See if I can do this lighting thing right.
Welcome to the
Is that
Scandal Podcast. I am one of your hostesses. I'm Jaha Knight, author, branding coach, and speaker. And I am joined by Mr. Langstan Smith.
hello, everybody? Hello, Jaha. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing wonderful. So last night, State of
Oh
the
my goodness.
Union. How did you
Yes.
feel about that?
You know what? It was probably not fast paced as most episodes are, but it was still interesting. As a matter of fact, just before we connected just now, I was rewatching, and I noticed there were some things, some elements that I actually missed, and I was like, oh wow, I'm glad I took the opportunity to rewatch it real quick because I see one thing that I was definitely right about, that Jake ain't stupid. Jake knows what happened. Jake knows Papa Pope was in on that mess. He knows that Papa Pope had Harrison killed.
And why do you think he wants to prove it, though?
Why he wants to prove it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he wants Liv to wake up and realize that her dad really is the monster that he said he was. I mean, because
But right now he's winning. You know what I'm saying? He got what he wanted. He got some sugar thighs.
hmm
So you would think that he would just let sleeping dogs lie because after all, that is her father. Why
no,
would you?
he still wants to be the hero. He
You
still
think
wants
he's
to be the
salty
hero.
over being pushed out of command?
I would say so. I mean the way that he confronted him last season. Because to be quite honest, I'm surprised that to be quite honest, I think I mentioned this in the Scandalistas and Scandalrati, and I think I wanted to mention it last week, but my technical difficulties and all. But I sincerely think that the only reason he is even still breathing is because he's with Liv.
You think
So,
so?
oh God, yeah. I mean the way that he stepped to Rowan last season, and basically just like and again, Rowan gave him the equivalent of the boy speech in regards to command. It's like you'll never be command. You're not command. You're just basically gave him a downgrade.
Wow.
And but the simple fact that Jake even walked into his space with the attitude that he did, he's lucky he didn't get the Harrison special. I'm just saying because again, ag- I mean, because come on, you walk into a space that has one entrance and one exit. Come on now,
Lucky you didn't get the
and
Harrison special.
right, because at least Jake knew when to back down. He assessed the threat and he walked away. Harrison, on the other hand, didn't know how to
Braggadocious.
didn't know how to assess the threat. Papa Pope, and we all knew this in that one moment when Papa Pope said, "Is there anything else?" And he goes, "No." Then when he turned his back and you saw the thought bubble go up above his head, it was like, Harrison, don't do it, don't do it. And then he said, "Actually," I said, "Oh, Harrison."
He
That's when
knows.
me personally, that's when I knew it was over. I was like, I didn't know how it was going to end, but I knew it wasn't going to end well. And so as soon as he said, "Right, Tom," I said, "Oh."
Tom, the beloved. Tom is our
like
beloved.
it's
Yes.
like it's like you at this point, all you can really do is run behind a desk because there is no way out. And so again, Jake stepped into a situation, and when he assessed the threat and he walked away. And so at the end of the day, that Papa Pope's presence at the funeral in last week's episode was both a warning and also a tell. It let Jake know that, yeah, I did it. And what you gonna do? That was like, and one of my favorite memes from that was Kermit the Frog.
Oh my
looking over
God.
the top of the window like, have you seen that?
Yes,
It said
but
Papa
that ain't
Pope
none
be
of my
like,
business.
mm-hmm. I was like, wow. But I know you have you. I'll go ahead, lead me in, give me some questions.
So my three
What was
moments,
yours?
what were my three highlights was when Melly stood strong for Fitz after Abby's pep talk, and then when she broke down, that took me down. I was like, Melly, like I felt so bad for her because just thinking about the fact that your son has died and you really are grieving, and nobody will leave you to hell alone. Like, just leave her alone and let her do her. That really made me break down. I was just like, Melly, I shed a couple tears for poor Mel's.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cyrus blackmailing Olivia into working on the case she took for James and Lisa Elliott. I'm like, really, Cyrus?
Right.
Like, you're blackmailing her, but you want her to stay away from him. It's the most functional the White House has ever been. But here you go running to live. But that's really, to me, because she's somebody they can rely on. You heard him say in that speech when he was talking to Abby, when she was like, oh, you believe Olivia Pope's going to do it and blah. And he was basically like, I'm not worried about that because Olivia always comes through. You the one I'm worried about. Like, you the one I
I
don't
mean,
trust.
right. Basically, he broke it down. He said, Olivia will get them here.
Yeah.
The first lady, you and the first lady, not so much. It was like,
And
I don't see anything happen. But did you get to your third yet?
no, not yet. This is my
Okay, go
third
ahead.
one.
Go
Now,
ahead.
when Cyrus actually talked about being undone, being forever changed, and how brokenhearted is just brokenhearted, it doesn't matter how you came about it. It doesn't matter who you lost, but your grievances or your grief can't be compared or measured. You're still in grief. Like, he's still in grief over James. And he said taking a measure of what that is means like being cruel or something like that. It sounded very Shakespearean to me. And I was like, oh, that sounds a lot like a Shakespeare statement of being undone and all that stuff, and a measure of grief. And it just, the way it sounded, was very poetic, the way he did that. And I liked it. And I really feel for him still, because he's still missing James, even though he almost had a run-in with the little male prostitute, but he staved him off.
Well, I have to say, my three my three starts actually with the one with the Cyrus where I'm undone piece as well. I just, it was like, because I'm still amazed, and I want everybody to listen and stop it with this whole situation of how could Cyrus be upset about James's death when he's the one that had him killed? Okay, clearly
What?
we didn't watch. Clearly, we did not watch the same show last season. Last season, it was made very, very clear that Jake killed James, and he killed James, and he killed Shelby, and he killed Vanessa because they were a threat to the Republic, and his job as command is to stop all threats to the Republic. So he himself, as he said out of his own mouth, rather than twist somebody else up and make them go out and do it, he went out and did it himself.
Yep.
And by the way, Cyrus didn't even know that James was Publius until it was already too late. So he had nothing to, although he had Charlie watching for Publius and really literally would have had Charlie kidnap and kill Publius, he would not have done it had he known that it was James. But when he did find out it was James, he apologized for his wrongdoing that he had done to make James go there. But at that point, it was already too late. Jake knew. If you go back and look at that season, you will see when Jake knew who Publius was and when he made the decision to do what he was going to do. He had all the computer files and all the files that he got when he had Quinn go steal the file out of Olivia's safe. So from now on, stop saying that Cyrus had James killed because he did not. It was Jake.
Jake killed him. I mean, where were they? Did they not see him get shot down like a dog in the street?
I don't think they watched anything about I mean, there's so many things that people are annoying me on a daily basis that I read on Facebook when it's like, did you watch? I mean, it's like, to me, it's like somebody handed you a piece of paper with all the facts that you ever needed to know about Scandal.
Erroneous
and you just skimmed it, which is kind of like watching Fox News. Oops, I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Oh my gosh.
You just skim the news. I'm so tired of watching people just skim over actual things that happen and make up their own storylines. Please stop doing that because it drives me nuts. But again, I enjoyed that scene between he and Melly because it bonded them, yet at the same time, Melly was like, we're nothing alike.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, yeah, I get it. James died. Boo hoo hoo. You feel bad, all that, but you cannot even begin to compare the loss of my child who came from my loins to your lover. And I get that. I get what both of them were saying, but they did have a slight bonding moment, and I really enjoyed that. My next scene was Abby. Abby earned her paycheck.
She Olivia Pope them.
Yeah, when she poked her. When she walked in there and snatched that magazine, I literally typed, I said, earn your paycheck, Abby. Earn it. And and she did. She broke her down and she said, okay, I get it. I know this may seem insensitive, but people's kids die every day. People have to get up and go to work. Basically get over it, And when we saw Melly at the speech, and she was actually there, and another thing that after seeing that I typed, I said, somebody was saying, well, she may have done a good job, but she's no Olivia Pope. And I said, well, she may not be Olivia Pope, but she sure did Johnny Gill the hell out of Melly, because she said, put on your red dress, slip on your high heels.
She Johnny Gilder. She did. Yeah.
Look, she may not have poped her, but she Johnny Gilder, because Melly stepped out in that red dress and them high heels and had the pearls on. And so then we go from that, and just like you, I mean, we're very much in alignment with the scenes that caught our attention and made us take notice, because from her actually showing from Abby breaking her down, and then ultimately her showing up in the red dress, all the way to, and to me those moments really kind of coincide into one for me, so that's my second. And so basically when we get to her literally, if anybody's familiar with the term, clutching her pearls and just falling completely apart, just ripping off the shoes, and you just saw it building. She walks out and you almost gasping for air, and then just snatching off the shoes, and then just grabbing the pearls, and you start seeing them falling. And I was like, I mean, literally, my heart started beating harder at that point, because I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Is like, she just gonna scream? What's she gonna do? And I really half expected her to just start tearing at the Secret Service man's eyes or something like that, because she was just literally, you saw the madness. She is like Medea from the Greek tragedy, where literally her children are killed and she loses her damn mind right there on the spot. That's what that felt like to me. It felt very Greek tragedy. And then my third, and most people clearly made it clear that they absolutely hated and were repulsed by it. But to be quite honest, I thought, the scene with Cyrus, getting it on with the dude in the hotel room.
I
It's
thought it was a
like
good scene. I liked
oops.
it. Oh,
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
I liked it because I honestly was like, he's not going to do it. And that
Right.
showed a lot of self-control that, you know,
Right.
he's not willing to put himself in a position to jeopardize this administration. And I liked it. I was like, that's what I'm talking about, side. Don't let a little bit of booty get you all verklempt.
Right. And even though eventually we know something's going to happen because the guy is going to try to play him.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, because he's working for and I don't even know her.
Portia de Rossi. I don't even know her.
Portia de Rossi.
I know her real name. I don't know her.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard him call her something Bear, but I can't get the name connected
Lizzie
with her.
Bear. I think
Lizzie Bear. That's what it is, Lizzie Bear.
Yeah.
Can't really get it can't connect with her name yet, but eventually I'm sure we're going to come to know her very well, because she seems, as soon as I saw and I hate to use this word, but as soon as I saw her, she's going to be treacherous. She's going to be treacherous.
Of course, Portia de Rossi don't come on no show to be the sweetheart. Come on now.
No, I mean, even when she's in comedy, she's just hard.
Yes, she is.
She comes hard. Because I don't know if I mentioned this with you guys before, but check out, like I said, check out this one series called Better Off Ted.
Oh, you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's. I
have Netflix now, so I will be doing that. You know what I did? Yeah. I bought a Netflix membership because I'm like, I can get the scandal stuff on here. No, Netflix doesn't even have season 4 up yet. I'm like, really? Really? But you know what's really good? House of Cards.
Well,
that shizzle is.
I know it is.
I'm
Wait
like,
a minute.
this is good.
They don't have season 3 up yet?
They don't have season 4 up yet.
Of course not, because it's current. They don't put them up as they're going on.
Insanity. Well, now I had to get a Hulu Plus account, and now I'm giving them free press because I'm talking about them. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about them because I'm giving them freeness.
This Scandal podcast brought to can you imagine this Scandal podcast brought to you by Hulu?
No, I don't think so.
we can always hope. But anyway.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I would love that. Was the case for the episode compelling, and why? And did it support the storyline or take away from it?
I thought that it was very compelling. Like I said, it's a little bit slower paced than I think that we're used to, and I think that's why a lot of people are complaining. But it's building to something.
You know what I actually want to say about that with relation to the story or the show being slow now, or this episode of the show being slow, because Shonda will slow us down and speed us back at warp speed. So the other thing I want to say about that is stop comparing the show to How to Get Away with Murder. This is not Grey's Anatomy. This is not How to Get Away with Murder. There are 3 different shows. If they were the same show, she wouldn't have 3 different shows. So stop it. This is better than Scandal. I'm like, no, it's just something you prefer. So watch that and shut up.
It's different. and even then, I mean, it was like folks act like they've never heard of gay people before. It's like they've never seen or heard. I get it. You're a little bothered by the fact that there's intimacy between 2 men or 2 women or whatever, but so what? I mean, it
doesn't bother me. I'm not in the bed with them.
Right. Number one is not affecting you. At the end of the day, it's not affecting you. If you think that gay people are going to hell for having sex and kissing each other, then so be it. Let them go. Let them be who they are, and just know that in your mind, you're going to heaven regardless of what you've done in your life. So let it go.
Never mind for the little train or whatever else you've been doing over there that you got keeping in the closet or in the corner.
Right. It's like, okay, you over there smoking crack, but he's going to hell because he happens to be smoking on a different dick. I'm sorry. I'm just like, what? That's the. Well. Your daughter isn't in the room, is she?
No, she's not.
Okay. So we're all I'm good. Look, we're all adults. We're all adults here. Let's just be real. Let's just be real.
Oh my gosh.
Look, there's 5 of us. There's 5 of us in the room. We're all alone. Let's just talk. I mean, come on.
Well, I like the case because James and Lisa Elliott getting them to the State of the Union speech, I believe that the reason Cyrus solicited Olivia is because he wanted to at least have one aspect of this crazy situation that was going on handled, and he knew that she would do it. But also, I feel like those two were showing the external battle of what's going on inside of the couples on the show, the state of those unions. They're all internalized. The people that are, Olivia and Jake, and Olivia and Fitz, and then Melly and Fitz, all internalized things. But if they could, they would just do what the Elliots were doing and throw things and shoot them down with the little hose and stuff. So it just seems like the external battle that they were having was the internal battle, even with Huck and Quinn.
Oh, and that was another thing. That was a good element there too, because on the sly, I think Olivia was using those two people to kind of get, because once Abby revealed that there was something going on between them, notice that she put them both on that mission together.
But it didn't really do anything. It didn't resolve anything.
Well, I think it did. I think it made them start to think, and you really didn't see it until the two were really going at it, and when Olivia just broke it down and said, "I think you should just get a divorce," and even Huck and Quinn were shocked by that. Like, what? That's your advice? And then at the same time, you kind of see them kind of thinking about how this relationship might relate to theirs. You can again, I'm one of those advocates, or one of those people who really truly understand and believe that Shonda has a lot of unwritten dialogue that the actors tend to portray through body language and facial expressions. So there's stuff that's said without actually saying it.
Well, you would know that better than us because you're an actor. So maybe that's why you know that. Because we're sitting here just novices, like, ooh, what's gonna happen next?
I mean, I just really truly just pay attention to everything. I don't take anything for granted that that everything is just what it is at face value by word, but I also watch the body language as well, because you see different nuances, and the actors are so good that they give you, it's almost as if Shonda writes something and then they read it, and then they just kind of do it, and then she may say, I almost can see them saying, well, what are they really doing right here? And it's like, and she tells them what it is she was thinking, what she was feeling, and then they literally give it to us through their acting.
Well, I wanted to shout out John Obendencia. If you are bored with our podcast, stop question answering me. Don't put that in my little Q&A box, because I'm not the one. Thank you very much. So you can just click the little red X to the left and go on your business.
Right. It's just like Scandal. Change the channel if you don't like what you see.
Nobody cares about your opinion at this moment, sir. So now the case to me was compelling. So we talked about that. If blank happened, then this episode of the show would have been perfect. What is your if blank happened? Because mine is if Olivia and Jake's scenes would have been not happened, the episode would have been perfect. But I think Jake realizes that he has always realized that Olivia uses him for companionship, and although he kind of wants more, he's just taking what he could get right now. He's the double Dutch dude, that guy that's just at the side, that's waiting for like Fitz and Olivia to like
can I get in? Can I get in?
Yes, I got the ropes. So he's literally like a double Dutch dude. So I think he knows that situation. He wants more, but he knows where his place is, and he doesn't really like that. So I think that's the role that Jake has. He's her stud in the stable of hoes. But that's my opinion. What was your if blank happened? Blank would have been perfect.
Well, I just feel like if that coupling of the two of them together to watch the couple, if it had culminated and them actually having a conversation where they kind of reconcile. I see a reconciliation coming. I was just kind of hoping that it happened last night. You know,
Yeah.
just I mean, yeah, I just thought that maybe he would just break and just be like, just finally say, just well, not necessarily break, but just probably snap out and just say, look, I never wanted that, and blah blah blah, and for her to just finally tell him, well, I get it now. Now I know why Charlie did it, and blah blah blah, and just sometimes there's just stuff that people just need to go ahead and just say instead of dragging it out and just making things more difficult for themselves and being angry with one another and not ever just saying what's really truly on their mind. So
Well, that's why we're still here, like, because they're not saying everything, and we want to be there for the saying of everything. So,
right.
Yaya HYFR, she always comments on our stuff. She's hilarious. She said when Jake and Olivia got it on, she thought of me. And I bust out laughing, Yaya, because I'm thinking in my head, if you was thinking about me when they were getting it on, clearly that little coupling wasn't that powerful. So I was like, oh, Olivia got nice boots. That's what I thought when they were getting it on. I'm like, I love those boots. Those are cute. And then I was like, wait, was she naked? Like, literally what flashed in my head when I saw it. I was like, okay. And Veronica says that she really dislikes Scandal now. She hates the way that Olivia is portrayed, but she's here for Fitz. Girl, you don't dislike Scandal if you're here for Fitz. Stop it. You might dislike the way Olivia is portrayed now, but you still here for Scandal. That's why you say
well, I mean, I'm gonna pose a question to her. What is it? How is it that she's portrayed? I mean, it's like,
oh, Veronica.
It happens.
He threw down the gauntlet. He's like, challenge. How is she being portrayed?
I just want to understand it because it always amazes me that people are just like, oh, she's being portrayed as this or she's being portrayed as that. But we watch reality TV, and I would say that there are women on the reality TV shows that are probably a lot more scandalous than Olivia.
I don't even watch the reality TV shows.
Yeah, and if you don't.
I don't, because it's not even it's pointless for me. Annette said that in episode 402, her faves were Cyrus and Olivia working together. Her favorite scenes: Abby talking to Melly, Fitz and Liv working on the speech, and Fitz giving the STU speech.
Mm-hmm. The speech was powerful because I think one of my Scandal buddies at work said that if that particular speech would definitely win him that vote towards the gun control and stuff like that. And I said, well, that same sentiment of what he said in that speech is what won him the presidency the second time around. It was the fact that he lost his son and that people had sympathy towards that. So, and Olivia was smart to tell him to do that. Because, as much as she tried to fight against giving him advice, at the end of the day, she was right,
Oh, you went out
to
for
the
a
grief
second.
of those parents. I did.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I hear you now.
I was just saying, she basically advised him to compare your grief to that of those, even though you didn't lose your child to gun violence, you still lost your child.
Mm-hmm.
And the grief is still the same. No matter how you lose the child, you've lost the child. And, the fact that the woman lost her ability to walk while trying to save other people's children. And many of whom died based on the fact that there was someone who came into their school and just started shooting them. And it's really interesting that someone asked one day in the Scandalistas and Scandalrati room about what headlines, what ripped from the headline storyline did you think that Shonda was going to use this season? And you know what? Actually, I don't think anybody ever mentioned that particular one.
Mm.
about the school shootings and stuff. So that was she I think she took everybody by surprise. So it's going to be interesting whether or not they continue to work on that particular storyline or if that was just a one-time deal. But it'll be interesting to see what else she rips from the headlines and puts in our faces and makes us think about, because that was a very thought-provoking speech that he gave.
Well, so Very Carey says she likes the fact that Fitz is looking after Mel's. He's not a monster. He has compassion. Well, I never thought that he didn't have compassion. I always thought he was compassionate when it warranted it. He's not going to let Melly manipulate him, but I think he is compassionate. And then Sweet Treats Forever says that part was pretty touching too. When yeah, she said that part was pretty touching too. And then again, so Very Carey says, powerful and moving. He just kept apologizing. They both know, game over. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. I don't know if she was referring to that or if she was referring to Fitz. I mean, not Fitz, Cyrus and the male guy, because she said something about a wet towel, or she must have been crying. I'm not sure. I thought the Cyrus reference was the wet towel, but maybe not. You just never know. It's Twitter. You don't get all of the characters to do, what you need to do sometimes. So that is that. What was the game-changing moment from last night's episode? Mine was when David finally grabbed a pair and decided that he was a winner and not a loser. And he didn't want to be on the losing team anymore. And I was like, thank goodness, because you always let Jake punk you. You let everybody punk you, David. It was getting on my nerves. Like, he's like, can I go now? I'm like, dude, are you grown? Like, you just asked him if you could go. Is he going to shoot you down in broad daylight? No, he can't. So I would suggest you act like you got some balls up underneath your skirt and then act like a dude. So that was interesting to me. And then there was another moment. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it was, he came, he tried to come a little hard for Jake when Jake was like, when he was breaking it down, how he believed Harrison died and everything. He's like, well, yeah, right now I'm kind of working on this appointment, so that's a little bit more important to me. And then Jake kind of gave him a look, and he was like, you know what, you're right, I'll look into it. Because it was like he looked at him like, do you remember who I am? And he was like, yeah, okay, well, I'll look into it. I'll look into it. But
and then when Abby had the moment with Melly, that was another game changer for me.
That was definitely a game changer because, but Melly's still not ready for the world yet. But I think eventually she will be. She's had that moment of being back, back on her shine for a minute. But, I think the combination of being in that room with all of those people and then hearing the weight of Fitz's speech, that's what broke her down. But I think she'll be back eventually. It was good to see Andrew. And, because I was concerned that he was just going to be really, like, off to the side somewhere. But, he'll be back. But, yeah, Cyrus still ain't feeling him. Cyrus is just like, go do your job.
He tried to take his job. Well, no, he didn't try to take his job. Why does Cyrus not like Andrew? That was my question. Because when he just really talked a lot of trash to Andrew, like, clap like you're supposed to and be blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what's going on between them?
Just clap.
And smile.
He was just all in his face. I think... Yeah, I just think that he's just like, I just think that he's like, he just knows that you're just a show horse. You're nothing more than a show horse. We just trotted you out for the votes. And yeah, you're not, I mean, he's just there for appearances, nothing more.
But he even treated Sally with a little more respect. Just a scotch.
Just a tad bit. It'll be really interesting to see where she's at this point. I would love to see. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that to come back. But I definitely feel like
that's a good question. We have some questions you.
because that was Cyrus's "you are functional, not ornamental" moment with Andrew. It was like, go clap, just clap and smile. That's all we need you to do.
We just wanted an extra warm body on the ticket that could get us votes.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Veronica says that she's responding to your challenge. She says,
Challenge me.
Olivia is a brilliant lawyer and fixer, but you mean to tell me she can't speak up for herself in her personal life? I just need some balance for her. Also, just to add, I don't watch reality TV. Smart woman. So,
Yes,
and then
but
Yaya asked
but I
right behind her, she's like, is Olivia a lawyer? So,
but I would say the same. I get it that you don't. I get it that you don't watch reality TV. But at the same time, there are plenty of professional women and men who are very good at their jobs and do a great service to community, life, everything, to to people all around them. But at the end of the day, their personal lives suck. I know people who are actually advice columnists and people who give advice regarding relationships but can't keep a man or a woman to save their lives.
I'm
It
gonna bring my hand
happens.
out. I almost bring it
I mean, yeah. We ain't gonna look. We ain't gonna get into yours. I'm not gonna put you on blast out there, but I'm just gonna say this.
But I live by what I
I
say.
had a heart to heart with my cohort here. I'm just saying, as together as she may be when she's not drinking wine,
What?
she has her own Olivia moments, just as I have my own Olivia moments
Yeah.
when in my professional life I got it all together, but when it comes to relationship issues, human beings
You're
are
lucky
a
you're not a
mess.
murderer. It's like I'm lucky I'm not a murderer because people
Right.
just make me want to.
Right, people challenge you all the time, and this is not a threat to you, young lady on the other end. I'm just saying, people challenge you in relationship situations, and sometimes you cannot function properly to be
Have that
able to
foolish noise in your ear.
go up against it. So I don't know that it's so much that how Olivia is being portrayed as how life is can sometimes befuddle you to the point that no matter what you do in your professional life, your personal life can still be a mess.
Yes, that's true. So Veronica responded to Yaya. She said, yes, Olivia went to law school where Cyrus was a professor. And then Yaya says she thinks that Cyrus doesn't like anyone who can cause issues for the president. Andrew messes up Melly and Olivia. Andrew messes up Melly and Olivia messes up Fitz. And that's true. But he loves Olivia. He likes himself some Olivia now. He do.
Hmm.
And Destiny says Andrew is working Lizzie Bear. That is interested in the episode. So yeah, he is actually, he likes Olivia. That's why I think he is, making sure she comes back into the fold, because he definitely knows that the storyline is going to continue between her and Fitz regardless. So he might as well keep her close instead of trying to, push her away. What scene would you have extended? Oh, my other moment. Sorry, I didn't even get to that. The other moment was the conversation between Abby and Melly
Hmm.
about the State of the Union. Did you give us your two?
We're talking about, I'm sorry, scenes we would have extended.
No, we were talking about. Oh, Yaya says she agrees with you. Amen. Yeah, because you can't have it all together and then your personal life be a
Yeah.
crap mess. You're like, I don't
Yeah,
know about this.
one or the other. One or the other is always going to, something's going to always be not quite right, because if I promise you that if we were all perfect, we'd be in heaven right now.
I don't want to go to heaven yet. I got some things to do.
I know,
But
that's what I'm saying. That's
I want
what
to
I'm
go,
saying.
but not
I
right
mean,
now.
if we, I mean, when if everything was just right,
That's true, Yaya.
life might just be a little bit boring if something didn't go wrong from time to time. Now, some things do sometimes go horribly wrong. Things you would never wish on anybody, but in terms of like small potatoes type stuff where you lose a key, have a little bump or scratch or whatever, things go wrong, and life is not perfect, and neither are we. And
That's what makes it fun.
Sometimes it makes it more interesting when
Mm-hmm.
the things that we watch on TV, they have more
Mimic it.
problems that they have more problems than we do.
And you know,
You
people
know,
talk about the
and of course,
beautiful struggle of life. I don't think that everything has to be a beautiful struggle. Like, I want the love life to be good. I don't want it to be
right,
mediocre or
right,
nonsensical. So for me, I'd rather walk away from a bad situation than stay in
right.
it, because it's not going to get better. And what's the point? And plus, I
Because
need my
all
self-esteem. I'm pretty. I don't have time to be
right.
dealing with no fuck boys. I don't have no time for that.
Ooh,
So
did
I'm
you
just
just
saying.
right? I got you, but
I'm
you know,
just
and
saying.
also on another note, nobody really truly wants what Olivia said that she wanted when she told Edison that she
I don't want it.
that she wanted painful, ugly, or whatever the words that she used,
I don't
painful
want
love.
none of it.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Not in real life. Only on TV do they want that. Only on TV do they want to be. Well, no, I have to lie. That would
People
be a
have
lie
it in
because
real life. They have
there
it in
are
real
people
life.
there are people who do thrive on the drama of
And
having
I
a
don't, and I hate it. It's
a bad
stressful.
relationship. Yeah,
I like having a nice,
nobody
even, good
you know
relationship. You do for me, I
nobody
do
in
for you. It's all
right
flowers and lovey-dovey. So you start acting
nobody
weird,
in
talking out the
nobody in their right mind wants that. But at the end of the day, there are people who do thrive off of drama like that, and um, that's the beautiful imbalance of Olivia. She can fix everybody else, but she cannot fix herself.
That's what
That's
Yaya said. She made a great point. She said to be as successful as Olivia is, she has to neglect something. That's her personal life. Many people do that. And then she also says that Cyrus likes Olivia but can't stand their relationship. And I totally agree with
mhm,
that.
mhm.
I was asking you earlier what was your game changing moment?
Game changing moment for me again would have to be the moment between Abby and Melly.
Okay.
Just when she broke her down, because it was, even though we're only 2 episodes into the season, it was great to see, you know Abby kind of in a way come into her own. She didn't have to go, even though she was kind of coached by Cyrus, she didn't have to go to Olivia to figure it out. Because typically we've always seen Abby, having to con- confab with Olivia to be able to get her approval or get her feedback on what or actually just doing whatever it was that Olivia just told her to do.
Mm.
And this is one time when she was able to
Be an independent thinker. Yes.
be an independent thinker and think on the fly, because it was like Melly pretty much like looked at her like, okay, whatever, Red, and then and she just found, and I think that was the other thing, is that she's so annoyed with everybody not calling her by her name. Is just Red this, Red that. Yeah, Gabby's gonna be
Diminishing.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Gabby's gonna be okay. And it was just like, damn, good thing she wasn't in the room when he said that.
Now, what
When
scene would you have taken out or extended? I would have extended the scene between Fitz and Olivia. I was like, oh, this is
yeah,
good.
I would have liked to see more, of how she got him to that moment in the room when he was giving the speech about gun control.
Yeah, that would have
Um,
been nice.
yeah, that's what I would have liked to have seen.
My other one was with Quinn and Huck, and he was like, I pulled your teeth out because you don't know how to mind your own business. You never know how to mind your own business. And if I had to do it again, I would do it
I
again
do it.
in a second. I'm like, get it, Huck, tell her. Basically,
Yep.
Huck said bow down, which is like, it was good. I liked
Hmm.
that. Like, he really just said what he had to say instead of swallowing it all,
Uh,
or kind of looking down.
although it
Or
was a
I liked it.
right. Right, and I did want him to, I did want to see him get more angry and just break that whole block of ice wide open and just say, "This is why I'm mad at you," blah blah blah, and whatever, and just get that out of the way.
He would have if that lady
Another
didn't stab her husband in the thigh.
that was hilarious. Um, But another game changer was the fact that, and I don't know, it could have been just Shonda just got tired of the tweets and she probably added it in. But the other game changing moment was shutting all the people down who just wanted to, who still wanted to believe that Harrison wasn't dead, that he may possibly reappear somewhere. She gave you a dusty toe with a toe tag on it with the name. If you don't get it by now that Harrison is dead, she gave you a dusty toe with a foot with a toe tag with a toe tag on it that said Harrison Wright, and then she showed you the paper trail. And matter of fact, you know how I got my little program where I enlarge and do all of that stuff. I'm gonna go back and read some of those documents. But she gave you a paper trail, and then she gave you a paper trail, and then she showed you who just happened to be in a diner in the desert just outside of Yuma. Yes.
Charlie ain't nothing. I swear for Moses, Charlie ain't nothing. Oh my gosh.
Right. Charlie may not have killed him, but he sure did dump those. He sure did dump those bodies. So, and therefore the paper trail will eventually lead back to Pops, and we know this. So it's only a matter of time, and it's already been predicted that Fitz will eventually find out that Papa did it. And I think that's by design. I think Papa let it be hidden long enough to get his daughter out of the country, but I'm sure at some point he planned to reveal to him what he'd done.
Papa Pope gonna die.
He's not scared of him. He's not scared of Fitz. He made that quite clear in that bunker last season. So yeah, it's gonna come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if he walks up in his face and tells him.
Papa Pope gonna die. I already know it. I feel it in my shana now. How does the title of the episode reflect?
I'm sorry. You took me to the snort laugh.
I mean, I do. I feel it. And Yaya's laughing at your dusty toe. Like, we couldn't get over the dusty toe. She gave you a dusty toe. She's telling you that he is dead. Dead. How does the title of the show reflect the plot and character motivations? Listen to you. You're just bad. Well, I already told you how I felt about it, the double entendre of the title with the State of the Unions of all of the characters and their relationships. So that's my thought.
I agree with you, because it was like it wasn't just about his State of the Union speech. It was the State of the Union of everyone's union. Those who are coupled, those who are friends, those who have anyone who has a relationship at all, their union. Shonda's basically showing you what the state of each of those unions is.
Who was your favorite character from last night?
My favorite character from last night, I have to say that Mellie's still doing that MVP thing. She's still doing it. Matter of fact, after she walked out and the way she crumbled, I was just like, why is she not winning an Emmy yet? Why? I don't get it. She
did her thing. I thought that she was my MVP last night too. Matter of fact, I think I have the most quotes from Mellie for my section of which quotes did you like for the episode. So she was my MVP. My least liked one. Who was yours? I'll tell you mine after you tell me yours.
My least liked person of the night would have to be Lizzie Bear. Just because, and it's not because Portia's not doing her thing. It's just because I'm just unsure about why. I'm just not sure about why she is what she is, whatever it is that she is.
She wants the Republicans to shine. She doesn't want the Democrats to get any type of foothold in the House or in the Congress or whatever you want to call it.
But
I think that's why.
But Cyrus is supposed to be your dude, and I'm just trying to figure out why. But I'm sure there's some background that we'll eventually learn about the true nature of their relationship.
But Fitz
oh my God! Hold on.
What?
What if she's his ex-wife?
Whose?
What if Lizzie Bear is his ex-wife?
Mm-mm. He said
You
why he
sure?
calls her Lizzie Bear. Yeah, he said it in
He
4-1. He
did?
said that, yeah, he said that the reason he calls her that is because the people in her position, they switch so much that he just gives them cute little nicknames. You don't remember watching that part? He's like, so your
No.
name is Lizzie Bear. So that's why he
But
said that's why.
that doesn't mean
She
that
might
she's
be
not his
old boy's
ex-wife.
ex-wife. She might be that
Hmm.
guy's ex-wife, the one that it was running Sally's campaign. But you never know. Um,
Ah,
but I do think that with the
uh,
whole what?
speaking of that, what I just like just I get it that Sally's no longer vice president or whatever, but yeah, we can't just be disappearing characters without explanation. So I need to know what happened
She's
to her.
not.
And
They said that she comes back at the end of the season.
okay,
I think we talked about that when you were going in and out last episode.
okay,
So my least favorite character for this episode, I'm not going to say who y'all think I'm going to say. What y'all know, y'all think I'm going to say Jake, but it ain't. I don't have one. But
who
still,
was it?
I don't really have one. I didn't.
All of that build up for nothing. That's why you
Build
wanted
you
me to
up.
go first because you didn't have nothing.
I didn't. Like, I think everybody played their role very well this episode. So I really can't,
Hmm.
say that any person was my least favorite for the episode because everybody did a really good job.
But
I liked the
but I
episode,
have
though it was quiet. I liked it.
right, right. I have to say that the only thing that did bother me about the gay scene was it was hard for me to watch Scott's dad from Teen Wolf, do the gay prostitute thing. That's all. That's the only problem I had with it. Because it's like once you get used to seeing certain people in certain characters or roles or whatever, and then you see them switch up like literally within the same season, it's like whoa, that was startling
Well, it's a
because I
TV
just
show.
saw him playing somebody. Yeah, yeah. I would, and I guess in him to be, I guess more because he fits more the type of like a Secret Service agent or even a politician. So when I heard that he was going to be on Scandal, I was like, oh, okay, wow, I can't
You
wait
thought
to
he
see
would
him
be a
on.
Secret Service
I,
person?
yeah, because well, he played a cop he was playing a cop on this other show. So,
Well, of course,
so,
then that's
so it was
typecasting,
kind of,
though. You're typecasting. You should
no, no,
know
no,
better.
no, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that's his look to me. And so therefore when I heard that he was going to be on Scandal, I was like, okay, well, it must be a really juicy role for him to be leaving, even though dad was kind of peripheral or whatever. It just kind of could give me a moment. I'm sorry. I have
Oh,
to answer.
the
But
door. But
yeah,
I'll just
just
keep talking. My favorite quotes from this episode were one when Cyrus was blackmailing Olivia, and he said to her, "I'll tell him you call every day. I'll tell him that you call for him, that you're pining for him. Sorry to be such a bastard. Live craving meat really brings out the worst in me." But then looking at that scene with him and that sex worker, I was kind of like, what kind of meat is Cyrus really craving? Is it meat from a man, or is it or is it meat from food? So I thought that was pretty interesting. And yes, Yaya, it's either Jake or it's no one because that's how dire it is. Jake is usually the one, but I wanted to throw you off, so I said nobody. But other, the other quote that
that's your excuse.
well, I mean, Jake, I didn't want to be predictable, Harrison was fine for every episode of last season almost. It's like, Harrison, kill him, kill him. Oh, he did.
Well,
I kind
you
of
could have still used it. You could have still used it.
Harrison.
My least favorite was Harrison's toe.
Dead Dusty Toe. I didn't want to see that.
And of course, as we all know, not only was it Dusty Toe, but it was Dusty Stunt Toe.
Oh my God. What? A Dusty Stunt Toe. Because we know that the short didn't go back to get his toe no little
right. So
he didn't want to be on a talk show on TV. No, a TV show anyway. He only wanted to do movies. You just didn't want
that any of us.
he didn't want
right.
to publicize the world like that.
Right. Not that any of us know what his feet look like, but they had to use a body double. So
That's
there
probably
you
what his foot
go.
look like right now, and he ain't even dead. So another, another one of the quotes that I like was, "Just because a private moment is made into a public moment doesn't give us the right to pass judgment. You don't work here anymore, Liv. I do." And I'll do things my own way because you do not know everything. You don't know anything. Harrison dies, a hucking twin are incesting all over the office. You had no idea, Abby.
Oh yeah, that was a
Love
good
Abby.
moment. And then Liv did take that moment to go, on my table. Yeah, that,
She looked at the
it's
table.
like she had that look like,
It's like,
oh, oh hell no.
what? Then the other one was fried chicken. Chef will make fried chicken. All you have to do is pick up the
Oh,
phone and ask, and bam,
and
fried
they
chicken.
make bam fried chicken,
Hallelujah,
right?
fried. You want
That was
some?
like, just like yeah, it's like yeah, and it was so funny just when I was rewatching the scene from the balcony scene from last week, because I'm like, she's spending an awful lot of time on that balcony, as chilly as it is. Uh,
She got on the thing. Them things be warm in the mug. She has on a
I'm
house coat.
I'm just surprised she's not walking around wearing a snuggie.
Oh, look, I'm looking at my snuggie right there. I'm like, them things be warm in the mug.
Uh, I know, right?
Then my last one
Yeah,
was, "Oh, honey, baby, do you actually think I give a damn what anyone thinks of me anymore? And for you to come here and pretend that this is about me when, let's face it, baby, this is all about you. This is the Fitzgerald Grant show starring Fitzgerald Grant. And you just want me to come play my part, the co-star, the part of the dutiful wife that just smiles and does whatever and doesn't wear sweatpants or eat chicken and doesn't hang out on graves." She
you,
did a little cackle. I was like,
you,
yes, Melly, do
and you
it.
know what? You know what? That was so very you. The only difference was she didn't cap it off with "fuck boy."
Well,
Because you know what? To be quite honest, during that scene when she laughed and she was saying all that, and just kind of was like politely going off like you typically do. I was just waiting for her to say, "And you're a fuck boy."
well, there are those people in the world, and unfortunately, I've dated them all. It's like,
uh,
I
um,
recognize you for who you are. Different person, same fuckboy. Goodbye. So that was and the character you related to the most this episode. Well, or ironically, you say that because Melly is the character I related to most this episode. And it wasn't even for that speech. It was really for how she felt about, going out there and doing what still needed to be done, but still having her vulnerable moment at the end. She didn't want to have the vulnerable moment, but it happened. And then actually, I could say Fitz was somebody I related to this episode too, because
mhm.
the fact that he went to her, even though they've had all these battles and fights and whatnot, he still went to her and was like there for her. I thought that was very touching. So I enjoyed that part a lot. So did y'all have anything to chime in
Mhm.
with? If you do, click the little Q&A app on the screen and talk back with us. And if you can't do that, then tweet me at Scandal Podcast, because we are just about to wrap up the show. So if you do that, we will get your comments in on the episode. So Langstan, what
Now,
did you have?
my the person I related to, and it's only for one reason, not so much who he is, but in this particular episode, I kind of related to Jake in his
Mm.
in his investigative situation, because
Oh,
that would right. No, I'm
my
not
wig
that
was
desperate.
blown back. I was like,
I don't look. I don't need to get a hotel. Oh wait, as I'm speaking, I'm
you're in
sitting
a
in a
hotel.
hotel room.
Your booty call. I was like, what?
I was like, oh wait. Before I finish
The
that
sentence.
sentence, look around. Where am I? But the difference is I'm not here because
Oh,
I'm
booty
trying
calls.
to avoid the fact that I'm trying to avoid the factor of laying up in somebody's bed and feeling like they bed winch. But
Well,
uh,
sometimes she's a bed wench and sometimes she's not.
right, he's always a bed winch. But anyway,
Or a
but at
beach
the end,
wench.
wow. But at the but as I was about to, I was connecting with his sleuthing situation, because I would have done exactly the same thing, because like from the minute I saw his face when he was hugging Liv and he saw Papa Poke, I was like, he knows and he's gonna dig, and he did exactly what I would have done, because that would have sparked my curiosity, and I would have had, just like he said, I need to know where this all leads, and that I related to that.
I can see that, because Langstan will pause scandal and blow up what he's looking at on the screen and come back and tell you why you wrong, because he blew that up. He'll transcribe it first and show you why you're wrong. Then he'll also tell you why you're wrong. So
which is how I got here.
Exactly. So I can see how you sleuth, you get that in. So yeah, I can see why you related to Jake in this episode.
It's like those things, like when you run into somebody and you know them from somewhere, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Those things bother me, and I will investigate until I find your face somewhere in my yearbook and go, that's where I know you from.
Or you might have seen them somewhere they ain't been supposed to be. They didn't want you to know that. That's what you knew from.
Right, and that's why that was giving you the twist face at the party, because dude, that's my wife, and no, you did not see me there at the strip club.
Like, shut up. You don't know from nowhere.
Like, oh, my bad.
Do you think that there was anything out of character for any of the characters on this episode?
Out of character. I thought that the hotel room situation with Cyrus was out of character, because of the fact that he, even though he was out, he's never been open. There's a difference between out and open. And he, even though everybody in the White House knew his business, I don't think Cyrus had ever been comfortable enough outside of James to let anybody in. So when that, and I think it really threw him for a loop, that he was really letting himself, and the guy goes, well, I'm a sex worker. He was like, yeah. So he totally stepped outside himself, and basically is probably going to get stung for it, but because I think that Cyrus thrives on being in control and being in command. And so I thought that was completely out of character, just that throwing caution to the wind and just like letting somebody strip you down in a hotel room and about to just go for it. And coming.
I don't know if that was so realistic, though, because I'm just saying, if you just so attracted to me that I am willing to do a one-night stand with you, or just willing to go into a hotel room with you, or whatever the case, if you throw them drawers on, I'm gonna have to be like, I might have to rethink this.
But it's a totally different story when you meet some.
That might be a problem.
You just right, like when you randomly meet somebody in a hotel bar or something, and you're having a great conversation, you're having fun. Oh, guess what? I have a room right upstairs. Yeah, that's one thing. But then when you get up to that room and they go, oh, that'll be $50, and you're like, huh?
What? You are a mess.
You have to give him the Scooby Doo look, like her.
The needle on the record.
Right. Like, yeah. You know what? That bar stool is still warm.
I could have spent that $50 in drinks. You're gonna spend it anyway. You're gonna spend it anyway on that person. You're going to spend it. So give it to your little sex worker.
But at the same time. But at the same time, he also has to consider. But that's where this guy has to put in work.
That's where this guy Ella? That's what I want to know. Where's Ella?
Right.
While you about to have nasty screw face sex with sex. Where's the baby?
Where is Ella, and where is the Muppet that you stole that hair from?
Oh my God!
That's what.
Say that. The
Because
Muppet.
it's like he bought a Muppet doll from Ella and said, "Ooh, I like that hair," and he
Oh my
put it
gosh.
up.
There was something I saw this week where there was a meme about Cyrus's hair and it was so hilarious, but I cannot remember what it was. I laughed so hard. It was ridiculous. So
Mm.
Gladiator in Harlem is here. She said, hey y'all, what did I miss?
Hey,
She's like, she's concerned about Olivia's character development arc. She thought season 3 was Liv's storm, but season 4 has everyone squaring off against Liv. That's pretty good. I like that.
well, you know what? But you know what? Everybody's been swearing off against Liv since season 1 because everybody.
Season 1?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, since Olivia's been on the scene, whenever she's not doing the fixing thing and she's, fixing things, like FITZ, fixing things.
That was nice.
Right. I had to bring you in. Come into my world.
I was into Chipotle at the moment.
Yeah, so when she's fixing and not fixing, that's when people love her. But when she's fixing, that's when they're like, she's this, she's that, she's a whore, and I'm that part. I'm not even focusing on it because when Liv is on her game, she's on her game, and just like I said earlier, people are imperfect in their relationships because one thing I definitely remember from the very first episode, Sweet Baby, is that when she broke down when she went to go see him that first time when we realized that this is what's happening, that this is the scandal, that she is sleeping with the president. And one of the things that she says in there is, you made me
mistrust my gut.
mistrust my gut. You made me not trust my gut. And that's he is her kryptonite.
Yep.
Everybody has a weakness. I guarantee you.
Yes, we all.
I guarantee you, everybody has a weakness, and he's her weakness.
Preach.
And he's been her weakness from the moment we met her. We didn't know it until halfway through the episode, but he is her weakness. He is her Achilles heel, and that is why she's trying so hard this season to stay away from him. I know we're only 2 episodes in, but the more she tries to stay away from him, the more she's drawn to him, and it's just the messiness of who her character is. She's very well put together in one aspect and totally a mess in another, and
reflective of a lot of the professional women in America.
Right, and men. I mean, that's like I said, I admitted my crazy, dirty self. It's like I have.
I don't know what's going on tonight. This is a Scandal podcast after hours, after dark. So we're going to, I'm going to read these questions, but we're going to answer them in the after dark section of the show.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it in. I didn't mean it in.
I don't know what you meant. You heard it. I'm just saying.
That
took us all by surprise.
I just mean that we all have our, not so neat, not so well put together pieces.
Size. Yes. So I'm going to read these. Annette said, thank you, Langstan. People make her so mad because with this how Olivia is portrayed thing, did you think the scene with Oleg was sleazy like people are saying? That's her question. So you can do a yes or a no, and then we'll go into more detail in the next thing. And then go ahead.
No, I mean, no more sleazy than anybody else who just wants to get their, things together.
Things together. And Gladiator in Harlem, Coffee Light and Sweet, she says her relationship with Fitz has a very different energy now. There's a little more powerful energy coming from Melly and Fitz, not Olitz. Is this deliberate or a coincidence?
I think the energies are completely different. He shares a child with Melly, and he would be a total asshole, as Olivia told him last season. You'd be a total asshole if you walked away from her now in her time.
Uh-oh.
me. They so hate for one another.
We didn't hear that.
Did I just? I said
Maybe.
they have a connection that goes beyond their once upon a time hate for one another. They also have, they had a kid together, and therefore,
But think
for
of
they
the chain of events too. First,
right.
Olivia tells him about the rape. Then he realizes that's why Melly has been so standoffish and why their marriage kind of
Hmm.
dissolved. And also,
Right.
I wanted to talk about the fact that, oh, I'll save it for the after dark. Okay, so Yaya says Fitz is a mess too. He's a male version of Olivia, very successful, but personal life is a mess. And
Hmm.
then she also says that she thought that Fitz would totally ignore Olivia after finding out about the Melly rape. She's shocked that he still gives her those "I want you" eyes at Coffee Light and Sweet. She was talking to you,
Well,
Gladiator in Harlem. And then I'm gonna just throw this out here. She said, considering Cyrus's job, she would think he would be more cautious.
that's
Y'all
what I was
can't keep
saying.
putting stuff in the
But see,
box.
that's what I was saying. It was out of character for
Stuff in the
him. It was
box.
out of character. That was the whole point. Is this out of character for him, to have jeopardized his seat of power by, number one, getting with somebody random, and then secondly, finding out that they were a sex worker and not having them killed. So I'm just saying.
And okay, so Gladiator in Harlem says, okay, gonna say it. Jake is Liv's comfort blanket sex. Whenever she can't have Fitz, Liv went straight to Jake after the State of the Union. Do you think
Hmm.
that Fitz and Melly were intimate after Fitz saw Liv? Remember, Melly knows how Fitz gets after he sees Liv, and at least sees Liv. And then Yaya says it's 1976 down there. Remember?
Right. She already pre-warned him. You can come and crawl in my bed if you want, monster down there.
Yeah, well,
Don't
also the
do it.
sheet broke down, so I doubt if he was trying to comfort her with his penis. So I don't know if that was the case. So we are
Well,
going to
he did.
sign off,
He
y'all.
listen. He did. Listen. He did make the Secret Service man leave. What happened? I'm just saying.
He didn't comfort her with his penis. That is not a comfort to me. Like,
I'm just.
but let me get
I'm
on. Let me
just.
get on about this penis, though. Where are you? What? No, thank you. Get that thing away from me.
Get it away. Get it
See
away.
y'all later.
No, he
Have a good
probably
night,
no.
y'all.
Good night. He probably just made her a drink.